Welcome back to the Run Home. Big second hour coming your way, and we can tell you that it's an exciting period in the NBL and for the Perth Wildcats. A new era, and Mark Arena is the majority owner who has taken over the club in the last couple of days. Mark, welcome to the Run Home and congratulations.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Great to be here.
How does it feel, mate, the last couple of days? You've been getting around. I saw you at West Coast training today as well, but you must be thrilled to finally take ownership.
Yeah, it's really, really good. Jeez, amazing facilities out at West Coast. Jeez.
Hey, well, hopefully we can get that with the Perth Wildcats as well. But before we get into things, what about your basketball career? Talk us through how you played as a youngster growing up.
I was actually pretty rubbish, but my brother was a bench warmer at the Warwick Senators for a little bit.
I love hearing that. At least you're honest about it. So if you're not going to be able to help on the court, what drew you to this team? I believe you're a Wildcat supporter growing up. Can you reminisce about some of your early memories of the Wildcats?
Yeah, I mean, I think the first memories was Mike Ellis raising the trophy. I think I must have been 5 or 6 years old at the time. I think it was a day game, and I remember thinking, why is it all dark at the entertainment centre when I'm looking outside and it's sunny? And I don't know if you remember that, it was when took 2-3 months you had to get tickets before you could go. I would actually go to the Wanneroo Wolves before, and that was before the Senators started, and then moved to Warwick when I was growing up.
Oh, I love hearing those days, and all those championships are actually on the walls right behind you, because I believe you're currently at Bendat Basketball Centre at the Wildcats offices, and you are going to call that home. You're actually going to be actively working within the organisation, which isn't something you necessarily see on a day-to-day basis from owners. But what's excited you about not just being an owner, but also a part of the team on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, I think I'm going to be focusing on the business of basketball, not the basketball itself. I mean, Damo, you'd probably be better off coming here and helping on the basketball side than certainly I would.
Hang on, was that a job offer? Hang on.
Mate, I put his resume in just out of coincidence.
Is that the one that I deleted pretty quickly? Really excited. I want, being West Australian again, bringing the club under West Australian ownership, and we want the best West Australian companies and the top West Australian business people supporting and backing us. And, what attracts me about the Wildcats is it's so family friendly. I used to go along to Perth Glory games when I was younger, learn a few words there that I asked my dad what they meant. Not ideal. And I think, I have a young family and I'm super keen to get them along to games. And like I said, it's such a great atmosphere. Kids in and out in 2 hours. Just a great club to be around, and great games that we have.
We know you've been very successful. Can you talk us through your business success and what has got you to this point?
Sure. So my background's technical, so software engineering and programming. Worked as a programmer after university. Long story short, I worked for the Australian Federal Police for a while as a technical specialist there, not a police officer. Got a niche or I guess my specialty is tracking cyber criminals, so bad guys online. It's actually a pretty rare skill, even now. But was very, very good at it. Created a company that was very, very successful. Actually lived in Europe, but constantly traveling all over the world. I've been to Ukraine and Kiev a lot, northern India and Dharamsala where the Tibetans live, Taiwan, if you think anywhere where bad guys and hacking happens, I've been there. That's my background. Was very fortunate to be successful from that perspective. Sold a majority of my company and moved back to Perth a couple of years ago. But my wife and I are both from Perth, and Perth's home for us, and the weather's awesome and Perth is awesome. So like I said, super happy to be raising a family back in Perth.
And if you see some dodgy-looking guys coming to RAC Arena, just start to move out. They might be after the guy who put them behind bars. But we've got a text message come through from Daly in Edgewater. Questions for Mr. Arena. Number one, what is it about the game day experience he has enjoyed the most during your time as a fan? And then I'll get to question number 2 shortly. But being a Red Army member and a fan of the club, is there anything in particular that makes it stand out beyond the basketball being played on court?
I mean, I don't know what it is, but maybe is it just you're in a fully enclosed stadium. I mean, clearly, it's obviously AFL games at Optus Stadium has more people, but to have that many people in such a small area, maybe it echoes, but everybody wearing red. I'm literally looking at a picture right now on the meeting room, the boardroom at Bendat here, and it just creates just an amazing experience. And again, like I said, so family friendly. People bring their young kids along. It's just I can't think of anything like it. And I've been to sporting events, mad football, round ball soccer football in Europe and Premier League games. I've been in the UK, and it's a very, very unique experience. And I don't know, how would you put it down? I mean, Damo, you played. What was it like? I mean, you could pick 2 words. What would you say? 3 words?
Just 2 words, life-changing. Third word, I guess, would be goosebumps. And I say that as a player, you probably miss out on 95% of the atmosphere because you're so focused on what's going on between those white lines. But the 5% you hear is why you're lifting. You go to that extra level, and that's home court advantage. Running faster, jumping higher, diving on a loose ball, even though you've got little chance. It's to replicate that 5% you hear the Red Army go to a new high altogether. But now that I'm just a supporter and sitting in the stands at times with my family, the other 95% I wasn't aware of, I'd missed out on all the dancing, all the dunk team, all those other things that take place as part of this events company, this entertainment industry, and not just the sport itself. So it's an
thought they were just coming for you every single week.
Turns out we had very little to do with it. The second question the Daily sent through was, now as an owner, what new ideas or old experiences have you enjoyed that you might plan on introducing or bringing back?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest changes I would like to implement here is really providing a behind-the-scenes view into the club. And obviously that's a player's perspective, coaches, but also within the club itself. Danny Mills, general manager of basketball. I want to know what he's doing all day. And I'm sure people at home and our members want to know. I want to hear Emma's story. She runs the brand side. Sam's story on the commercial side. And there's a lot of interesting stories to tell. So, I'm all about social media, content creation, and I want to provide that kind of enhanced view for our members into the club and the going-ons around it, because it is, great bunch of people. I'm sure you remember, Damo, like everyone here loves the club, super passionate, and I really want to tell their stories. And like I said, that's obviously we want to talk to the players, and it leads into our pre-season trip to Japan. So we're bringing our whole media team to Japan to create some content. Obviously, anyone that's been there, the culture is massively different to any Western country. So that'll be kind of hopefully the start of some of the content creation that we provide for our member base.
Mark, it's out there for everybody to see how much you paid for the Perth Wildcats, and it seems like a lot, but do you think in 10 years, and we've seen what has happened in the NBA franchise and their value, and also the growth of our league right now, that price is a pretty good one for what you forecast in the future?
Yeah, obviously, like anything, you buy anything, you wish you paid less, no doubt about it. But I think if you look at, Wildcats has the most members, the most well-supported, the best stadium in Australia for basketball, and it's been like that for a long time. And I mean, Melbourne, I think, traded on a $40 million valuation recently as well. I think if you think of like basketball in the 90s was super, super popular, and then it kind of went, down a little bit, and it's coming back hard under, Larry Kesselman's leadership and ownership of the league. And I think ultimately it was a fair valuation. Like anybody, like I said, I wish I paid less, but it's what valuations of teams are going for. And I think the growth of the league is not just, the ceiling is not just within Australia. It's how can we grow the league? So in the region, we have great leagues in Japan, China, growing in Indonesia. Philippines has basketball is the number one sport there, and they got the best and biggest indoor basketball stadium in the world there. So how can we, I think that's where we level up NBL, certainly, and I, hope to be a part of that. I'm here for the long term, so, I'm really looking forward to that.
You are working there actively. What title will you go under? Because it's one thing to be an owner, but if you're contributing 9 to 5, 3, 4, 5 days a week, do you have a title, or do you just come in and, like you said, get to know each individual within their role and just see how you can complement it?
Yeah, I've seen a lot of questions about that. My intention is, to come in as an owner and be an active owner. Active being, I'm going to be effectively the top executive, so owner/CEO. Do I pick 2 titles? I was just going to say with owner, and we will reorientate the exec team to have C-level titles. So we'll have a COO and GM of basketball ops, which would be Danny Mills. We need to hire a chief financial officer, a CFO, and the others will fill into C-level roles. But yeah, effectively, I'll be the top executive, and I'll be the effectively acting CEO or owner in that role. I'll be, crushing it. over 5 days a week. I kind of work hard, play hard is my mantra. But yeah, owner would be the title. I mean, that's at least what LinkedIn says.
We mentioned you going down to the West Coast Eagles today. What was the purpose of the trip, and what did you learn down there?
Oh, just great facilities. I just wanted to, how does our facilities compare? Obviously, it's totally different sports. It was good to go down there and not get rained on, so that was good. It looked like it was trying, but yeah, the main reason was understand their facilities, recovery, training facilities, and how could we apply that potentially to the Wildcats in the short, medium, and long term.
Can we confirm you've pulled out of the race for the West Coast Eagles coaching job?
I confirm nothing.
Oh, hang on, we'll go with that. Hey, in 12 months' time, when we've got you back on the show, what are you hoping that we're talking about, reflecting on your first year as an owner by then?
Yeah, I mean, I hope that we can talk about some of the new experience we provided for our members, behind the scenes view. And I don't see that many sports within Australia providing behind the scenes content. I mean, you see that maybe with Welcome to Wrexham type documentaries. So hopefully that, obviously from a technology background, I want to bring some more, how can we use technology to better engage with our members as well. I mean, it's challenging. That's going to take a long time. Or at least we're going into a new season now. I know you guys were talking before about would we do a rebrand? We cannot do it for this season because we're so soon, but certainly on the table looking at how should the Wildcats be branded in 2025 to 2026 season. So,
mate, we thought we were solving the problems of the world and you couldn't hear it. So we didn't
know you were hearing. We mentioned the black and gold, bringing it back. I remember the Mike Ellis here, and I went to the Mike Ellis testimonial game all those years ago at the Entertainment Centre.
Well, my next question, it's not going to be Mike as the answer, but do we have any news about when we can announce a new import, that third and final import spot?
No news. Sorry. We're getting close though. I would say that. I'm not immune from being kicked in the backside if I tell you something I shouldn't have. So, I can't say anything more on that right now. Sorry.
For so long, playoffs were always a part of the equation for the Perth Wildcats. What's your expectation every single year at this club?
I mean, the goal, for everybody here, is to win championships. I think, the reality is the Wildcats historically were, miles ahead of everybody else. And that gap is a lot shorter. And it's not because we're not as good, it's the other teams have all caught up. And that's good for basketball in Australia and the region. So, like I said, we're still ahead, but we're not going to win every game. We're not going to win championships every year, even though that's what we want to. You think of even we got second the past season on the table. We got eliminated by Tasmania. Tasmania had two great players who are now signed in the NBA. And even in the 90s when we were crushing it, I don't think there was a year where we lost two players to the NBA. So, and look at how close were we to getting through that semi-final series. So, shoot for the moon, shoot for the stars, winning championships. But, we have a great roster, a lot of stability in the roster compared to, maybe 3 years ago or so. So I'm going to be out there decked in red. Hope to see you two both decked in red as well.
I'll be there, no doubt about that. Free tickets, you're beauty. But across your journey, who have you been some of your all-time favourite players?
Obviously, Ricky Grace. I mean, he actually trained me probably half of Perth when I was maybe 8 years old, I think. My family would go down in a caravan to Bustleton every kind of Christmas, New Year holidays, and I think once or twice went to his basketball clinics. But Damo, you're on the show. This is your show, so I will say I looked up to you, and I especially like that diving photo of you. And I imagine it probably would have hurt after.
Oh, I'm glad it arrived. I did send it a few times just to make sure you received it. Mark, if you don't mind me asking, how old are you?
How old do you think I am?
Well, I've been told you're 39, which is the same age as me, so I'm kind of wondering where I went wrong. But does that also mean that when you go down and watch training, you and Jesse Wagstaff just talk about growing up in the 80s together?
Yeah, I am 39, so I was born in 1984. Jesse's a great guy. We're actually at an event today together. I do like to go training and watch them. It's pretty intense. I don't know if yours was the same, but maybe just as an outsider coming in and seeing it, Yeah, it is quite intense.
Mark, can I ask about the Perth Lynx? There's been a bit of an on and off relationship with the Perth Lynx, and I think at some point there was some sort of negotiation with SEN as well. Where do the Perth Lynx sit amongst the Perth Wildcats hierarchy?
I mean, I'll just say that, our strategy going forward is everything the Wildcats does, we want to do with the Lynx. I think it's very, very important we do it together and we have a united front to be the two teams for basketball within Australia. I mean, I'm pretty clear I would love in the future that both teams have a single ownership again. And I don't know if that's going to be possible or not anytime soon, but that would be my, long-term goal.
Let's talk about game night, because you go over to the Sydney Kings and you see Paul Smith, one of their owners. He's got an outlandish jacket. He's very passionate. He's vocal. You go to some of the other teams, New Zealand Breakers, they'll be in all the merch and they'll be sitting courtside, very vocal. What about you? What can we expect to see when you're attending a game? Are you a nervous supporter? Are you a vocal one? What excites you most about finally sitting down as an owner at game one at home?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. Wearing wise, I'm actually going to wear the same thing as I'm a fan, number one, so I'm going to wear the same as the members, right? So I'm going to have a black T-shirt on and then a jersey on top, the one I got presented with at the press conference yesterday. So I'm going to be wearing that and either pants and shorts, depending on how hot it is. So how loud I am, I don't know. I know JR wants me where they want the owners very far away from the bench and the coaching staff. So I'll be in the owners box, which I think is the middle of the court there. But whether I'm loud or not, yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Just on shirts, JJ has texted in, Hutchie and SEN remain as part owners for now. Can you give him a free shirt to get rid of that old red long sleeve shirt that he has to wear?
I can. I definitely can.
We've got another text message that's come through. I hear Tim Gossage would love to be the new mascot. May increase your member base. So Tim's in charge of our breakfast show. Absolutely loves his Wildcats. So plenty of love coming from SEN as we broadcast all the games this season.
Cool. He's got the build for basketball, didn't he? First time I saw him, I think was at our MVP dinner earlier in the year. He's very tall.
Favourite team outside of the Wildcats? We talk a lot about the Dockers and the Eagles on this show, but did you follow other sports? You mentioned soccer growing up. Do you still follow the Glory, or has that all changed to someone else now?
No, I still follow the Perth Glory. My dad's still got season tickets, long now with the Wildcats. I do try and watch Eagles and Dockers games on the weekend. My daughter loves watching it with me, Eagles and Dockers, even though, watching some of the games is a bit tough these days. But yeah, super keen still, Wildcats. We watch all the games, when the games I couldn't get to, I would watch on KO, Boxtel, ESPN.
We can't wait to watch the Perth Wildcats this year. Congratulations on the purchase, and we'll catch up soon. I look forward to those free tickets.
Awesome. Thanks very much.
Mark Arena there. If you've got any questions, send them through. There you have it. He's living every man's dream to own his own team, which you can't do too much in Australian sport.
Mate, that's why I asked about his age, because we are the same age, both born in 84, and he owns a team you'd have to talk about. I love the job, Hayes. I love sitting across from you daily, but
you would give it up, wouldn't you?
He made some better decisions when he went down the cybersecurity route, that's for sure.
You can join in anytime, 0487 736 736, or call the Kia open line. That's 13 12 55. All thanks to Morley Kia. Get more. We'll take a break. On the other side, we'll bring you up to speed with all the